Every now and then I open the door, grab the post, and I think, what have I ordered now? Let's crack it open then. Well packaged. The usual standard box. Let's flip this out here. I do like the little cases that they come with, to be honest. Very handy, very practical. So big thumbs up for that. And here's the lens itself. For some reason, mine didn't arrive with the lens hood. So anyway, Pergear did send me this out, and it was a bit of a surprise when it landed, as you would have seen. Let's check this out. 43mm filter thread, 35-1.2. So a little over your nifty 50 once you factor in the full frame equivalent. 53mm equivalent. There's an all metal mount there. The whole thing is metal. Very nice. There's 6 elements in 5 groups in there. f1.2. Where's the aperture ring? f1.2 to 22. That's quite a tough little aperture ring that is, actually, which click free, by the way. The toughness probably means it's not going to fall out so easy, but it is quite tough. And there we've got a manual focus ring. You can see the lens comes out a tiny little bit. So we've got a 25cm minimum focus distance, and infinity stops right there. That's pretty cool. 48mm, 53mm, weighs 210 grams. Like the little snap-on cap. I would have liked the lens hood if they'd have sent me that too, but beggars can't be choosers. Considering the price, build quality, at least on first look, seems absolutely solid. Really, really nice. But let's have a play with it. I've got 20 minutes to spare, so I thought I would get the ball rolling with my portrait tests, but I've only got myself to deal with today. So here I am, hay fever eyes, shades, and dodgy light. Let's see if we can get anything out of this. We're going to be shooting it wide open. This video piece isn't wide open because of the blown highlights and whatnot, and just to give me a chance of getting myself in focus. I'm going to be shooting with the app, albeit just the remote release, because the main bit of the app doesn't let me see focus peaking as I'm shooting, or will be shooting at f1.2. For me, that's very necessary. If I'm within arm's reach, I'm just going to use the screen so I can take advantage of yellow high focus peaking, and otherwise there'll be a little bit of trial and error, but it's just a little bit of good crack until I get my hands on a proper model, which would be a lot easier and more in keeping with what this lens is for. Quite clearly, a £100 lens isn't made for everybody, and although there's a load of 35mm lenses out there already, unless you're an internet troll, you can't fault a company for putting out a standard lens as one of their first for the X Mount, although I would like to see somebody just do something completely wild just to shake up the internet a little bit. Now, if you are hoping for a miracle at this price, this isn't it, but there is a lot to enjoy about this little thing. Other than the nice build quality, it's worth noting that the manual focus ring is easy to use, and that stiff aperture ring didn't bother me at all once I started to shoot this properly. I tend to use focus peaking with my Fujifilm cameras, and using a lens like this wide open, that's a lifesaver for me. Just for kicks, I gave it a run while playing with some product shots, warming up a new lighting setup. As you can imagine, wide open, up close shots were no fun at all, but stop down, the images turned out to be pretty usable. The 25cm minimum focus distance definitely gives you something to play with, and while it's not designed to win any awards for product photography, it is fairly tidy if you stop down. What it's probably best at is portraiture, where character is more important than critical IQ. Of course, it's a nice focal length for a variety of shots, and by throwing it right to f1.2, you can take advantage of the softer nature of the optics and get some pretty interesting shots. It is surprisingly sharp, but it does have a little distortion, which you can see here. So you work with what you've got and avoid or work around straight lines in this case wherever possible. The colours render pretty well, and the bokeh isn't the worst I've seen at this low budget end. Of course, some will enjoy it more than others, but that's life. Until you stop down a bit, you'll get vignetting, but again, it adds to the character more than it detracts from the purpose. Of course, it's not a pro standard lens, and you can find a vintage lens and adapter combo that performs better, but as it stands, I'm glad I tried it. Is it worth the roughly £100 price tag? Yes. It wasn't supposed to be a perfect lens, but you can get very usable images from it even straight out of camera. Any lens at this end of the market isn't really designed to be critically appraised to death or used in a pro setting. Rather just throw it in the pocket, go out, have fun, and try to squeeze the juice out of what you've got. Is it the best 35mm lens at this end of the market? Well, that'd be a personal decision as opposed to a stat for stat fight. But let me know in the comments below if you've tried this one yet. For now, make sure to subscribe and of course, stay safe.